A PDF of additional materials accompanies this program. Simon & Schuster Audio presents The Day It Finally Happens: Alien Contact, Dinosaur Parks, Immortal Humans, and Other Possible Phenomena by Mike Pearl, read by the author.
4-page. My girlfriend while I wrote this book, my fiancé around the time I finished it, and my wife the week of its publication. Introduction. If you consider yourself an informed reader who cares about the future in our supposedly post-truth world, you've probably learned the dark truth about expert forecasters. They supposedly don't know anything. There's data to back up this cynicism. For the book Superforecasting, The Art and Science of Prediction, which psychologist Philip E. Tetlock wrote with journalist Dan Gardner, Tetlock gathered mountains of data about predictions, only to conclude that, statistically speaking, the average expert is roughly as accurate as a dart-throwing chimpanzee. But still, people who predict things aren't all idiots. Tetlock and Gardner discovered that some people have a knack for prediction, and they profiled them in their book. Here's what the two authors found. Apparently, if you want to make a prediction about the future, you should base it on hard data, and that data should be completely divorced from any hunches or biases. You should deal in probabilities, never certainties, and offer an unambiguous time frame. For instance, if you're like the legendary physicist Enrico Fermi, you can make seemingly psychic deductions about information you don't have by determining what data you can easily access, and then extrapolating. In his famous "How many piano tuners are there in Chicago?" thought experiment, Fermi asked his students to guess the number of tuners, people not forks, to a reasonable degree of certainty with simple number crunching. We know the population of Chicago, and we know how piano tuning works. We can also calculate with some accuracy how many pianos Chicago has, so if we crunch the data and show our work, we can come up with an estimate with a better chance of being accurate, rather than a guesstimate. It's a cool trick, but it only works when the thing you're studying is pretty well studied. I'm not a statistician or a physicist. In fact, I'm terrible at math. But I do like to predict the future, and I've made a job of it. I just approach it a little differently because my main qualification is a paralyzing fear of things that are going to happen. My fear comes from an anxiety disorder, a very common mental illness. It's a mixed blessing for someone who works as an explanatory journalist. It fills my head with ideas, but I hate the ideas. This might sound like a fun personality quirk, but if you've ever experienced a long string of panic attacks or been afraid of closing your eyes because sleep brings extreme graphic nightmares, you know anxiety can be a whole lot more serious than just stand-up comedian-esque neurosis.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?